Slovenia, favorite place in Europe. And yeah, so I actually started out as my internship in year two, sem one, where I was actually a business analyst intern at like a local SME. And I did basically logistic tracking there and business optimization. But afterwards, I felt like I needed something that's more fast paced. So I decided to actually try to pivot into finance. So in year two, sem two, I actually took a LOA and I interned in Maybank as a prime brokerage intern, covering mainly execution sales and also like hedge fund and pension fund client services. Afterwards, for the summer itself, I went to DBS where I worked in global markets and I actually was with the FICC sales desk, short form for FX, interest rates, and commodities. And I love our product structuring and whatnot. So here was where I really decided that I wanted to have a full pivot into finance itself. So I wanted to actually gain that domain like knowledge and expertise that wasn't really taught in ISE itself, like economics and systematic trading. So I actually applied for internship at Diamond, where it's a hedge fund where I did macro research, alternative data forecasting, machine learning, and also like modeling, where we actually predict the US election results itself and they trade off it, right? A lot of Python automation. And most recently, for year three summer after I came back from Sweden, I went to Bank of America where I also did global markets, where I did trading this time around. Sorry, it's big. Yes. So I think like for like my past 4 years, I think like I see as a whole, I think it's a great degree. I think there's its strengths, but at the same time there's also its pitfalls, right? I think it's a degree where it really trains up your analytical and quantitative skill sets. It let you have a wide diversity of a toolkit from machine learning to optimization to data analysis. And I think that really sets you up and give you very highly transferable skill sets across different industries. But I think one of the pitfalls that it has is that it can be quite a generalistic degree whereby you don't really have that domain knowledge. And I think one thing that I felt when I was actually trying to break into finance was that when I was applying for my first finance internship, employers will recognize that I have these skill sets, but they don't really have the confidence in me to actually apply them in that domain itself due to a lack of that domain knowledge. So I would say that the key insight is that while ISE does give you that broad toolkit, you need to kind of focus on an area whereby you want to specialize in, whether it's that domain knowledge itself or specific skill set to have. So I think these are some of the reflections I did, and I think what I would do to actually like tell my juniors is that I'll actually start exploring career options early on, because I think now the job market it's quite cooked, right? Right, for lack of better words, and it's more and more competitive. So I think what really helped me break into finance was also like that number of internships that I managed to like build up over the years. And I think it's important to recognize what you want to do early on and really quite and quickly become a specialist in it. So, and another thing is that like I started out quite late per se, because like I started to delve into finance in year two, sem two. That's really like 50% of your uni like academia. So I kind of did like internships for like what like 1.5 years straight, and like you can be quite tiring. And especially juggling in school on the side, doing part-time internship, you can feel like quite exhausted. So actually if you start in year one, you can kind of space that out. So you won't really feel that burnt out as much. Second thing is that I think grades is important, but on top of that, it's important to also build your own like projects, right? So build your own Python scripts that actually help like do some for analysis within the industry itself, or like if you're interested in consulting, do more case comms. So like really try to gain that domain knowledge and expertise. And I will say that the first internship that you want to get, I think as an engineering undergrad is also going to be very, very difficult. Like for me, like I actually applied 200 roles, I only got three callbacks, and out of those, I only got one offer. So it's going to be difficult, but like don't give up, right? And lastly, soft skills are important and try to overload as much as you can, especially in the first 2 years when modules are still somewhat easy per se. Then you have that luxury of space to actually LOA in your later terms. So what you some things you can do, set up a LinkedIn, build a project. I think like join a organization, or there's some typo there, but I think join an organization is important. So like something that it's relevant in your field. Like if you want to do finance, join like an invest, like NUS Invest. If you want to do consulting, join like Casecom, right? Or join Conjunct. So things like that is important because on top of learning, right, what you gain access to is that the seniors. And those seniors are probably in like relevant internships, and you can actually ask them for help and ask them for reco. So that's actually how you can break into the industry a lot easier. So yeah, and develop a soft skill. So yeah. So I think what I'll share also is a bit of like what I'm doing uh after I graduate, and I'll be working as a trader in Bank of America. So like basically I'm a market maker and I make markets for like um institutional clients like hedge funds and pension funds, and I basically facilitate the transactions of assets, and yeah, pretty much manage risk, ensure capital efficiency. And I would say that out of like the six different skill sets that was required for me to get this role, I think like four of them is already taught in the ISE curriculum. So as my main point here is that you need to gain that specific domain expertise yourself, right? Like they don't teach you economics and financial product knowledge in ISE. So yeah, with those, I think everything will be fine, right? You don't have to figure everything out. Just gotta try early, adapt, reflect, and yeah, use it intentionally. And I'll end you guys with a quote that like my senior once shared with me in year one is that you create your own luck. So yeah, that's all. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Do you have time for questions or
I think for questions, we'll take questions after all three students have shared. So
because I need to bounce off it.
Oh yeah, can I go
so
question?
Yeah.
questions
I
after.
have a question.
I have a question. So
Yeah.
I'm a student speaker also.
Yeah.
But my question is, how did you decide that you want to get into finance? What was the pivot point for you?
I think for me, because I reside in Cambridge Hall, right? So like a lot of my seniors are actually like finance majors. So like after I did the internship, I felt like it was very boring to go to work every day, like and like didn't really have much drive, right? So I spoke to one of my seniors, John, and he's actually at that point in time he was year four, and he actually like converted in JP Morgan sales. So like he kind of told me about the world of like sales and trading, and like it sounds like really fun. There's like, a lot of adrenaline and like things move every day in the global markets, right? So I decided to give it a go. Yeah. Alright,
Any more questions?
So before your first finance internship, because you came from an analyst internship and ISC, right? So it may
Yeah.
not be really relevant
Mm.
in like finance. So what do you do to supplement your portfolio? Like do you take any minors or any projects?
Yeah, I would say that for minors, like it definitely would help, but like only when like the 2Ks and 3Ks will really be the ones that you learn the most. But by then it's really a bit too late, right? So I think what I did was actually I went online and I took like online courses about finance. I learned about like the nuances and like I kind of specialized in trying to learn about options. So like that was like the main talking point in my interview. So they can kind of see that like I'm interested and I took the initiative to learn about it. So they kind of have like the confidence that I'm not here just to try my luck. I'm actually here to like really like get the role lah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we have time for one more. There are any questions? Okay, if not, thank you,
Right.
Koshin, for the sharing.
Thank you guys.
No. So I think we can invite our next speaker, Pratik.
No, the
What? Pointer. I think he pressed was.
so
Yes,
it's a pointer also you need.
do I need pointed at the laptop?
No,
Anyway.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
You need like
Fine, Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you so much to the ISE Club for organizing today's event. Thank you to James for reaching out. So I'll start off with a quick introduction of myself. My name is Ratik. I'm a final year ISE student graduating soon in May. And a quick fun fact about me, I was actually studying electrical engineering in year one, semester one, and then I swapped to ISE in year one, semester two. A few other fun facts about me, I did my exchange in Australia this time last year. I also played cricket for the Singapore under 16 and under 19 national team, and I love dogs, as you can see in this picture. So, moving on, for the agenda for my today's presentation, right? Essentially, I'm going to start off with an intriguing perspective on what I think ISC is about. I think Goshen also touched a bit about how broad it is, but how you should specialize in the particular skill set. So, I'm going to talk about that. Then I'm going to walk you through my own internship experiences. And then I'm going to cover a few common internship application questions, which a lot of juniors have actually asked me. And the reason I'm covering this is because in today's job market, finding any role or internship is kind of like a Herculean task, right? So I'll go through that. So, one common question that I've gotten over the last 4 years from my friends, family, fellow students, and even my colleagues at work is, right? What is industrial engineering? When I asked my professors the same question, the answer they always gave me was optimization. But I have a very different take to this. In my opinion, because in ISC you learn such a multitude of concepts, in my opinion, the answer to the question, what is industrial engineering, is actually whatever you want it to be. And that's how broad it is, right? So let me expand a bit on that. In ISE, essentially, you study three different specializations. The first spec is supply chain analytics. The second one is analytics and decision intelligence, which is about machine learning, AI, deep learning, all the buzzwords in today's day and age. The third spec is sustainability analytics, which is about decarbonization, sustainability, etc. So one question that I personally had in year one was, if I study ISE, does that mean I can only work in one of these three fields? And the answer is no, because ISE also teaches you data structures and algorithms, which is kind of like the foundation to become a software engineer. And you learn a lot of statistics and simulation as well. So this means that by studying ISE, I can easily become a supply chain analyst at P&G or Unilever. I can become an AI engineer at OpenAI or Meta. I can even become a carbon consultant at EY or Deloitte. Or I can become a software engineer at TikTok or Shopee. Or I can become a facilities planner at Micron or Infineon. So with ISE, the entire world is your oyster, and where you end up is completely up to you. And that is why I believe that the answer to the question, what is industrial engineering, is whatever you want it to be. So now I'll walk you through my own internship experiences, right? So I started in year one as an operations analyst intern at AIA Singapore. Then in year two, I did a supply chain internship in Semcorp. And just like Goshen, even in year two, I figured out that, okay, supply chain is a field that I want to work in. So I started specializing in working towards that. In year three, I did a supply chain internship at Zebra Technologies, which is also my industrial attachment. And then after that, I did my final internship at P&G as a supply chain intern. So once I did all these internships, I had a lot of juniors come and ask me, okay, the most three common questions I got was, when do I start applying for roles or fresh graduate roles? Where do I apply and how do I make myself stand out? So over the last 2 years, when I've been applying for roles consistently, I kind of saw a general framework when it came to applications. I saw that in Singapore, a bulk of hiring at an internship and a graduate level actually happens between July to December. In July, you have companies like Goldman Sachs, GIC, BCG, JP Morgan open up roles. Then it's missing over here, but in August, September, you'll see companies like P&G, Unilever, DBS open up as well. But what you will see is that the moment you start pivoting towards January, February, the number of roles available actually starts to decrease. And this brings me to my first internship application tip. And that is to utilize your first mover advantage and start applying July onwards. One easy way to remember this is that you should be applying for internships in semester one, because semester one is August to December, right? If you're applying in semester two, that's not very ideal. My second tip is to keep your options open. Now, the reason being, in today's job market, I cannot go forward and say, okay, especially as a fresh graduate, you can't go forward and say that, okay, I want to work in this company, in this industry, in this role. You cannot limit yourself. Be open to exposure, be open to learn. So keep your options open, apply for as much as you can. Then my third tip is make sure your resume ATS score is more than 90. So ATS, most of us might be knowing, is basically like an AI resume screener which companies use. So you can use NUS's VMOS software to verify this. It's free for all of us. The fourth tip is beautify your LinkedIn. In my opinion, your LinkedIn should be as updated as your Instagram. All your internship experiences, all your educational, Dean's List, NOC, exchange, everything should be up here. The fifth point, very underrated, is to network. Speak with as many people as you can, attend company information events, attend company networking events. It's going to help, and you might also get a referral, which is kind of like the cherry on the top, right? The sixth point is to specialize in your skill set. So I'm going to expand a bit on this in the next slide, but essentially with these 6 tips, I've answered the question, when do I apply, where do I apply, and how do I make myself stand out? So now, the last point, but arguably the most important, is specializing in your skill set. So for this, I'm going to use my own experience as an example. So I started off as a supply chain intern at Semcorp Industries, which is in the energy industry. After that, I did a supply chain internship at Zebra Technologies, which is in the tech apparels industry. After that, I did a supply chain internship at P&G, which is a global FMCG giant. Notice how each internship built onto my previous experience. And that is kind of like the gist of all this, because whenever you do internships, you must make sure that each experience is compounding on the previous one and you keep moving forward. And the reason you have to do this is because in today's job market, employers are becoming more hesitant to hire fresh graduates with no real experience or understanding of the role that they're applying for. So we can take like an example on this, and these are some examples that I've taken from my friends. So for example, I have this one friend who actually did 3 supply chain internships in the last 3 years, and now he wants to break into investment banking. He's also studying ISE with us, by the way. And that is not possible because investment banking requires technical skill sets like DCF modeling, company analysis, and valuation skills, which supply chain really doesn't teach you. I have another friend who did 3 supply chain internships with me as well, and he wants to break into product management. Do you guys think that's possible? I think it is because product management and supply chain have quite a few intersecting skills like client understanding, roadmap planning, and SQL. And that is the real key takeaway from this slide. You do not need to figure out your entire career in year one, but you do have to be intentional with your approach. So start specializing in your skill sets now, compound your experiences over time, and make sure that they align to meet your long-term goals. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the very insightful sharing. So I think we can move on to our next speaker for the session, Ian. Oh.
Yeah, so I honestly didn't prepare much, and they already said a lot. So I'll talk more on my experiences, okay? But first, an introduction about me. I came from Singapore Polytechnic. I studied aeronautical engineering. I'm actually a year 3 student. So yeah, August 2023. My first internship was at Singapore Power Group. I was an AI and ML engineer. So over there, I actually worked more on the power forecasting for the different regions in Singapore. Then I was at Shopee or C Money. I was with the insurance team. I was helping them price their different insurance plans, specifically their product insurance, because in Indonesia, they like to steal the packages. So there's that. So that was my year 1, sem 1, my year 1 summer internship. Then I was with a French bank, BNP Paribas, in year 2, sem 1. So this is actually a part-time internship that I decided to take on. I was on a fixed income desk, repo trading. So we do short-term financing overnight. And yeah, that was part of the macro trading division. Then currently, I'm still interning part-time right now. I'm a quant at Glencore. So over there, I work with the all traders. So my internship at Singapore Power Group, if you've seen this building before, I was like at the 4th level. At the top, there's actually a gym. So during lunch, I was always at the gym. My team over here, they're mostly PhDs and masters. They're from China. So I didn't understand them most of the time. My desk was over here, and then there was like this OL lady who had a bunch of shoes. So that's why I put that picture there. And then that was my card over there. So yeah, over there, I mainly focused on power forecasting. So why this is helpful is because some banks in Singapore actually forecast power. So Goldman is an example of that. So when I was interviewing for Goldman, they were actually shortlisting me for their power trading desk. So when you apply for all these internships, you must be intentional with what you want to apply and eventually see how would they loop back to your end goal. During army, I already knew I wanted to do quant finance or finance. So that's why I was like, okay, SB Group on paper doesn't seem like a very strong name, but it will do for year 1. Then right after that, I went to Shopee. So this was, okay, I can't remember where. It was like summer. I think I did it May to July. So I was with the insurance team. Shopee, yeah, there's free soya bean, there's snacks, Herman Millen chairs. There was a sleeping room, but it was really smelly, so I didn't sleep there. Um, I think Shopee is a very good stepping stone internship that you guys should aim for. The thing about Shopee is they have a lot of roles, and when there's so many roles, there's at least one role when no one apply. But this isn't one of them. But yeah, it's a very niche sector because insurance, like people here, like who want to do insurance? But over there, I was actually more of a machine learning engineer, helping them set up their very basic foundations of ML so that they can eventually predict like when someone in Indonesia will have a fraudulent case. So this is my first proper finance internship. So I was actually seated over here. I had 6 screens, and then two French traders, rich traders, and one Singaporean trader who would trade Malaysian rates. This was my first culture shock because at Shopee, at SP Group, I got work from home. Here, I work like 7 to 8 p.m. And then I was also doing full-time mods, so I was actually taking 5 mods over here. So sometimes when I'll go for lunch, I'll take a very long lunch. I'll grab to school, I'll go for PF, the project management mod, then I come back. So that was quite intense. The problem with this mod, I don't recommend, but you can try, was that I was just trying to survive. I wasn't actually learning anything. So even though BNP is very strong in fixed income derivatives, I don't know anything about fixed income. Even though we took IE 2111, I actually had this internship before that mod, so I didn't know about the time value of money. So that was interesting. If you see here, I actually have a voice box, so I got to talk to some brokers, I got to talk to some traders. And then over here, I realized compliance is very strict. I tried to use ChatGPT a lot of times. Then suddenly I'll get a call from Hong Kong saying that if you continue to do this, we'll fire you. So I couldn't use ChatGPT. At one point, I brought my iPad in to take notes, and then the director next to me said, we don't do that here. So as you can see, eventually it became a notebook. So this internship was from July to January. Yeah, my first taste of finance. Then currently, while I was still at BNP, I went to interview for Glencore. And then when I saw this view in the interview room, I instantly knew, okay, I really want to do commodities. You can see the physical product actually moving in the ocean. And then I was like, okay, let's go. Let's do commodities. I hate BNP. So now at Glencore, at BNP, we also have a vending machine, but you must pay. Glencore is free, so I really love that. The view in the pantry is amazing. They're cool with me bringing my keyboard. And I downgrade from 6 screens to 3 screens, but it's okay. They don't shout at me. So 3 words of advice. You need to start now. So when I was actually in year 1, Sem 1, I really wanted to help my batchmates. When I would see a job that suits them, I would instantly send them or tell them, hey, go apply. I think you can get. But they always tell me, I haven't prepared my resume, all the excuses. So please start now. Because if you don't start now, that business kid or comp science kid who has a better chance than you, you're already in engineering, your chance is quite low. If you're trying to bring it to finance. So you need to start now. If you notice, if you come from JC, you don't have an internship, your resume will be very empty. It's very good to fill that up with projects. I managed to actually land a bunch of quant trading internship roles in year 1, Sem 1 because of my projects alone. So you need to really utilize that. Find what you want to do. If it's not finance, talk to your seniors. And then, brings on to my second point. Actually, in ISE, there's not a lot of seniors in finance, but it's completely okay because you can talk to other majors. No one is stopping you. So for me, I actually didn't do this, which is something I really regret, because when I asked around in my internships, I asked people, how you guys get a job? They actually reco or referral. Then I apply by the portal, then by some miracle, I got it. So you really need to game the system. A lot of people are actually getting in through referrals. And if you don't start now, GG, man. So why I say give your best is because, like Guo Shen, I think I hit the 500 application range because because I'm not Chinese, so that's another factor. Like the race card, they don't want to apply non-Chinese. So that was even harder for me. But what I mean by give your best is really, let me think. Sacrifice. I had a strong group of friends in year 1, Sem 1, and then when I was deciding whether I should take an LOA, I realized, okay, all my mods are gonna be messed up. When I take my future mods, I don't know who I'm gonna group with. Like right now, I'm taking IE 21. I don't know which one. The stats one, then I don't know anyone. So it's but some things you really need to sacrifice. Like if you really want to break into an industry, you have to let go of some things. And why my last point is stay healthy is because eventually when you start off year 1, you can apply to everything. But when you eventually know what you want to do, you start to apply less, and then you realize I'm getting less interviews, I'm getting less offers. my most recent recruitment cycle, I actually had 3 interviews and only one offer. But before that, when I was applying to everything, it used to be 5 offers. But then I almost decided, okay, maybe I should step away from finance because the moment I started applying for more specific roles, I realized maybe I cannot actually land this job. And what I mean physically and mentally, when I was at BNP, doing that during break time, go to school via Grab, I actually gained 5 kg because I couldn't exercise. I think mentally I was doing quite shit because the hours was bad. They were scolding me in French, scolding me in Chinese, scolding me in English. Every time I book a trade, they're like, "Do you know what you're doing?" Then I'll say yes, hoping they won't test me. Then they test me, then I'm cooked. So you really need to also protect yourself in the sense that if you do a part-time internship, you need to know your boundaries also. I thought I could push for like, because honestly BNP was full-time, but I somehow told them I can actually do 4 days a week. Then they let me try, then I died, and then yeah. So I think I can leave more towards Q&A. You can find me on LinkedIn. Yeah. Q&A?
Thank you. Thank you again for the sharing. I think now we can invite, Ian and Ratik for some questions from the audience.
Jeez, 500 applications.
Are there any questions from the audience?
So I have a question for Ian, who actually came from SP aeronautical engineering as well. Yeah, but my previous working experience as an intern was repair engineering. It's not so relevant to ISE roles, right? So what do you supplement your portfolio with to get your first internship, especially as a year one SEM 2 student?
What do you want to do?
I don't know.
You don't know.
To hear from like your experience, like how do you supplement your portfolio?
Yeah, so a good way to fill your portfolio and really get a advantage over JC students who have a very empty portfolio is just stack with your projects. Like if you take the IE 1111, you already have a very decent Excel VBA project that I'm sure all of you have. A lot of companies, a lot of other majors, they never touched VBA before. So you're already at the advantage. Then contrary to popular belief, everyone still uses Excel. So you tell them you study Excel, they're like, we want this guy. So originally my resume had 2 projects because I was trying to penetrate into finance. I had one trading, I would create an API, then that would link with a broker platform. Then over there I'll do paper trades. So that was my first one. Then second one, still finance related, but it was more on the theoretical end. I go YouTube, I watch some video, I claim it as my own, then I put on my resume. So the most important thing, right, is you don't actually need to do a project. You just need to make it seem like you did it. So if you know the ins and outs, when they throw you a question, you don't actually need to do. You can just say you did it. Do you have anything to add?
Oh yeah, I think something very similar, to be honest. If you have an empty portfolio, for example, I came from international school, right? So I came, did international school, did NS. My resume was empty compared to poly kids who would have a few internships or projects. So when I came in, again, very similar to what he said, what I did was I tried to build on. I found that first internship by hook or by crook. And once you get that first internship, it's very important how you brand the internship. Like Ian said, skills like Excel are actually invaluable in today's day and age. So my resume would highlight that. It would highlight VBA. It would highlight financial modeling. And then use those keywords to try and match the description that you're going for. I think that is how I was thinking. Hope that answers the question.
Are there any more questions from the floor?
Maybe I have a question for Ratila. So I was interested in how you managed to find the interest in supply chain. Is it through internship or before internship?
So my interest in supply chain actually came during my SEMCorp internship. So I mentioned in year one, I was doing an operations internship, which is not very related to supply chain. And then when I got the SEMCorp internship, because I was very late in applying in year two, I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But once I started the internship, I liked supply chain simply because of the amount of collaboration it has. In supply chain, you're not just working on your own, you're working with demand planners, supply planners, transformation analysts, warehouse team, you're working with order management, procurement. So I like the collaboration, and that is something that really interested me to join.
Yes.
Maybe for the both of you. So you guys are telling me how to get internships. How are you guys preparing for interviews and actually landing the job? Because you guys are competing with other places, TS, Maxis, and I know every job has their kind of interview. So how do you know what to prepare for what kind of interview?
Yeah, maybe I can go first. So very interesting, maybe not too helpful is how to prepare for interviews. You interview. So you interview for roles that you don't want. You get yourself warmed up. You realize, hey, I actually don't know how to function the moment someone asks me questions. So how I actually got over that is I would have a script. I write on sticky note. I minimize. Then I put near the screen. Then I just read off the script. So it will include very template like about you. Then I'll stalk the person LinkedIn, make sure I have the same interest as them. So that was one way I did. Yeah. So to get better at interviewing, just interview more. How you can do that is you can apply for roles that don't appeal to you, but use them as a practice instead.
Yeah, I think same thing. I think that's a very good point because even in this recruitment cycle in semester one, when I was applying, I sent about, I think, 100 to 150 applications. I ended up having about 25 interviews. Was I interested in all the 25 interviews I went for? No, but they're very good practice. They're a good way for you to handle questions that you don't think are coming your way. So I think that's the best advice. Practice through interviewing in real life.
I think we can do like one question from the online query.
I think there are some interesting
Maybe
questions.
yeah, maybe it's 5. We can do 5 first.
Number 5, what made you choose your current specialization? Okay, so I think I can talk first. So I'm not specializing in any of the 3 specs that I mentioned, supply chain, analytics, or sustainability analytics. My specialization is purely into my internships, which is supply chain. So no academic specialization. Ian, you got any specialization?
No. I don't have major, minor, specialization. I do the bare minimum.
Same. Correct.
Then I think 7 is quite interesting.
Does GPA matter a lot for us to be successful after graduating? So my perspective on that is I don't think GPA matters a lot. I think GPA is mainly used by companies as a form of level 1 screening. It's not something that really determines whether you're getting the role or not. At the end of the day, it's your projects, your internships, your skills which matter. So I would say very informal advice. If your GPA is roughly above 4, which is an upper second class, I think that is something that should be good enough. Try and aim for above 4 if possible. Ian, anything?
Yeah, so I think this depends on industry and also the company. Why I say industry, you go government, they see your GPA, they pay you more. Why I say company, government ask your GPA, JP don't ask your GPA. So a lot of companies, people actually don't ask GPA. So as long as they don't ask, if your GPA is bad, then you don't say it. Next one, what is this 3S?
6. Maybe it's, I think social
Sleep,
studies.
studies.
Social studies and sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so in my opinion, social studies and sleep, I think you have to have a good balance. Like Ian mentioned, his last point on his slide, physical and mental health is very important. That's where sleep comes in. That's where social life comes in as well. At the same time, sleep, social, what was the last one? Studies, yes.
Study.
Obviously, that is important. That's the reason that you're here. So you have to have a good balance. I think there will be periods of fluctuation where sometimes sleep will take a hit and then you might have to focus a bit more on studies. But in the long run, try and have a straight line which has a good trend fit. You will have a few troughs, you'll have a few peaks, but try and have a good balance.
I think worth sacrificing for me it would be studies. I sacrifice a lot of my studies. Why? Doesn't matter if you can study, you won't get the interview because you don't have experience. Like experience trumps everything. Like let's say you 4.0, wait here. Let's say you 5.0, but then someone got more internship than you but 3.6. They're gonna go with the 3.6 guy because they care about can you actually problem solve, and that is reflected in your past experiences, not your GPA. Your GPA just shows okay, you can study, you have your character built from all the stress, and you can do an exam. But can you actually work subjective to the person? When did you have your first internship?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
Okay,
I think the rest is answered already from the
Okay.
sharing.
Data science, okay. Sure.
Yeah, I think, okay. Thank you, Ian and Ratik, for the questions.
Anyone else?
Anyone else got questions?
Yeah, I have a
One last
question for Ian. You mentioned a lot about projects, but how do you actually bring up the interviews, or do you include them in like maybe like GitHub in your resume, like how do you package all of your experience and let the interviewer know that you already done this before?
You JC or poly?
JC,
So what do you have on your resume?
maybe like a World Quant consultant program thing. I think that's the best thing that I have so far.
Yeah. So for this, you will have a section. For me, I had personal projects. Now I don't have Swiss anymore, so I moved. But when I was in year one, it was like school, work experience, personal projects, and then like your useless skills and languages at the bottom. So how will they know I did it? Your resume is so empty. That's the only thing they can ask, right? Then how to make it seem like you own it? Then this brings back to what I said, you need to interview more. Because sometimes you watch the video, you drill yourself, you ask ChatGPT, it grill you. Sometimes the interviewer will throw you a curveball, like what library, okay, what library you use is still okay. But like, oh, why do you design that function a certain way? That one you won't know until you start interviewing. So yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay, if no more questions, I think thank you for the answers. And we'll have a 10-minute break and we'll come back after this.
Thank you.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Daryl. So I graduated from ISE just last year, and I'm currently working at DSTA. Okay, so this is just a snippet of like my NUS career. So in year one, I was like, there's this event called Career Day. It's not here anymore. I was the vice project director for that. I did CD Club, and then I overloaded most of my sem two because I was trying to clear as much credits as I can in my lower years lah. Can I just check like who is year one, year two right now? Oh, quite a lot. Okay. So I think my advice for year one, year two is that like year three in like summer intern will be very important, or like year three intern in general. So why I say that is because around my year three, when I got my internship, that's how I converted for full-time role. Yeah. So make sure that you choose an internship that you will be interested in and something that you don't mind converting for a full-time role for. Yeah. So of course a lot of companies like to take interns from before they graduate, about like their penultimate year, which is year three, and then the following year they will want you to come back. Yeah. It's easier for them administratively also. Okay, so in my year three, year four, you see I do a lot more fun stuff because like you work hard at the front, right? Then behind more sure. So I went for exchange. I went to Hong Kong. If you all have any other questions for Hong Kong, you all can ask me later. I did teaching assistant for 2141. Is 2141 still a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Hope you all are having fun at it. The laugh means not lah. Okay, and then I went to Taiwan and Korea. So for Taiwan and Korea is like sometimes if there is no like attendance recorded, then you just go and enjoy yourself lah. Yeah. Okay, then in year four, yeah, so you see I intern at DSTA. This is basically year three summer lah. Yeah. So I still did some student club activities because I felt like I was like too chill already. After I wanted to meet new people. I also did NUS Global Buddy program. Is that still a thing? Like the exchange students come, then they need you to like be a yeah. Okay, so this was quite fun. I did it I think for 3 semesters. So I had Taiwan, I had US buddy. Yeah, so if y'all are like you have the time, go and do these kind of things because like it helps you to meet friends outside of Singapore. Yeah, then I also travel to Tokyo, Osaka, and Beijing. Okay, so this is just like a bit of the picture of what I did in year one. So you can see that in my year one, it was still COVID period. I don't think y'all ever saw like Zoom stuff or like events. But like basically, you see, this is the kind of thing that we did. We have to wear masks. We have to do online kind of events. So we don't have this kind of like in-person stuff. Yeah. And then we had night cycling. So in year two, as you grow into your role, for me, I was in ISE Club. So for vice, like when I first joined, I was just a member. After that, I became the vice president external. Yeah. Then on top is when I did orientation for the freshies. Yeah, year three is when I went outside of Singapore more. So on the left is when I went to Korea. Right side is my exchange friends. Yeah. And then year four, even more time outside of Singapore. Okay, so some serious stuff. So I think a lot of the things that y'all do in school right now can be split into these things. So SEP, is anyone going for SEP or planning to go for SEP? Two, okay. I would recommend that y'all go for SEP because SEP will give you a very good like context for when you go for interviews. You can give them like a perspective that people rarely can give. So because this kind of experiences overseas is something that is quite unique to yourself lah. Because when you go overseas, the experience that you get, the way that you experience the country is different for each and every one of you. Yeah. So for those going SCP, this is my advice. You either go there and you want to chill, so it means you take lesser mods or you take easy mods and then you clear more credits, or you can take those hard mods. So for me, I did my two core mods. I did simulation and stats application, the NAPAT mod. Yeah. So I didn't have when I came back, I really just enjoy myself. Yeah. Okay. So for internship, if y'all never used Talent Connect before, it's quite a good website to start. I got my year 2 internship with LTA through Talent Connect. I wouldn't say it's the best place, but it's a good place to start. And then you can also search on LinkedIn. Not my recommended way, but people did find interns there as well. And you can, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, go and make one. It's quite important to have LinkedIn because there are some recruiters that like to recruit on LinkedIn. So for me, before I got DST as a job, I actually got recruited by Shopee. Yeah. Okay. And then CCAs, do y'all all have CCAs? Or like, like student club stuff, whatever. Okay. So the way that we use CCAs, at least for when you want to try to get your first intern or job, what I use CCA is more to express soft skills that you don't usually do in school. But because we're ISE, right, so we still do projects. It's not that bad. Yeah. But how I use CCAs for myself was more for to showcase skill sets like project management, time management, stakeholder management. These are the kind of things that actually even now in my current job, I use it a lot because you have a lot of stakeholders to talk to. Yeah. I think in school it's like you just have to be accountable to yourself, maybe your three other group mates. But at the working world, it's like you have like maybe 50 over people you need to account to. Yeah. So these are the kind of things they want to look at: soft skills, project management, stakeholder management. Okay, so this is just a snippet of my colleagues. Uh, this is a snippet of what I presented to my director when I was an intern. So what this is I did a like a analytics dashboard. So what I was trying to tell them was how did I start the project? How did I work on the project? And what was the iterative process that I did? Yeah. I think y'all can see it's like y'all can relate to like probably to like maybe IE projects or do y'all still do CD 2000 that kind of thing, DTK 1234 whatever. Yeah, still. Yeah, so these are the kind of things that you can translate to at work. Yeah. So I know it gets a bit boring or like you don't think like, hey, why would I need to use DTK? But the things that you kind of the soft skills that you learn from those mods will help you when you do presentations for people that might not understand your project or they're not profs, so they won't know like what's the context of what you're doing. They just know that you had a project that you did. Yeah. So these are the kind of things that you can translate with your soft skills. Okay, so key traits to succeed. Why I wanted to put this slide, right, is because after 7 months in my job, I think back on like what are the things that I did in school and what am I still doing now at work. So these are the things. So soft skills, to be curious to learn. So when you first go into a job, right, it's not like school. There is no step-by-step method of what you're supposed to learn. So what happens at work is more they will give you something. You need to try to figure out how to reach the outcome that they want. Yeah. No, people rarely handhold you, and if they do, it's a bonus. It's not a guaranteed. Yeah, and it's not your right. Secondly, willingness to learn. So sometimes you might think that like, oh, this is not what I'm supposed to do. But I think when you're willing to learn when you first get into a job, whether it's internship or your first job, being willing to learn really helps to put yourself out there and give a good impression on your bosses. A good memory. Sometimes at work, especially you do like project management stuff, there's a lot of things coming your way, and you don't really have time to like sit down and process them one by one. So having a good memory actually really helps a lot when you're doing work. And resilience. Uh, resilience meaning if let's say do you all still do CS 2040? Okay, if you think you suck at CS 2040 and you can push it until you can reach a B, I think that's like a good showcase of what resilience is. Yeah. So resilience is a very important skill. I use it even now at work because work is very tough and it's like every day you want to go to work and you feel like you're not good enough, but then just do it. Yeah. Resilience. Okay, technical skills. Because I do more project management stuff, I think this is more applicable to people who maybe if you want to go into banking or like a more developer kind of role, you make sure that your domain knowledge is good. Meaning if you go into a developer role, what kind of language are you good at? And if you're not good at it, make sure you brush it up. So probably things like Java, Python. I don't know. Do you still use Java, Python for school? Yeah, so these skills are still applicable in the workplace. I see people still code in those. But I don't think there's any AI mods now, right? Not yet.
Especially
There's machine learning. The E22 one, right? That one, that basic. Yeah, it's all like and quite theoretical. But anyways. Algorithms. What I mean by algorithms is from technical perspective, it's more like your coding, data structure algorithms, that kind of thing. For me, is in a project management point of view, algorithms means recognizing patterns. So there are some things that other people might not spot, but they're actually repeatedly doing something that they're not supposed to. And then where you can value it is that when you identify these things that they are repeatedly doing wrong, can you do something to change that? Yeah. These are things that people at work like to they value that yeah, to be able to identify a problem and solve that problem. And lastly, organizational skills. Right now, if you look at your computer and your file explorer is messy, I would suggest that you should start learning how to kind of organizing your file explorer. Especially when you start working, right? There's a lot of different documents and a lot of different files that will come your way. So being organized is actually a very good skill, especially for like computer, file explorer, organizational skills. Okay, so my last advice. Currently, you're still young, so I hope you all enjoy your school life because this is your last chance before you become an adult. Yeah. Okay. So if you all get in touch, here are my socials. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Daryl, for the very insightful sharing. Maybe you can invite the next speaker, Justin.
Ah, yes. Use the clicker.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Think this is quite interesting to hear a lot of the seniors or the other folks that are sharing. I think one thing that I just sorry I didn't get your name. Sharing earlier was that a lot of the information shared, I think, is very immediate. It's very what's the word I will use? Not say short term, but very career focused, very goal driven, which is nothing wrong. And I think that's something that individually each person should have. So I think today I'm kind of a dinosaur here, but I think that's fine. But it's just to give everyone really a idea of life in general. So I'll share a bit of my lived experience. I think as well as how I've navigated it. I don't think I'm the best. I don't think I am fantastic or what, but I think each and every one of you individually have your own life to live. Each of you individually have your own goals and dreams, and I think these are things that you have to take into consideration on top of just career. All right, so let's dive into it. So it's a bit of sharing of my life experience. So my name is Justin. Uh, Now this is my batch. Uh, I don't think any of you will ever know them because I graduated in 2014. So this is quite a while back. Interestingly though, my face is not here, so don't bother finding my face because I somehow managed to miss the graduation photo. Okay. Inside our group we have a MIT PhD. We always term him the dreams. I don't know if in your batch, regardless of whichever batch you are, is there any Cat 5 lah, right? I'm sure there is lah. In ISE there's always a Cat 5 one, 5.0. He never gotten a B in his life. Okay. I have the finance bros, which you already saw quite a number on stage here. People that really have a very distinct goal of earning money or just being in that finance sector, right? I have a CrossFit bro. So his FYP was on CrossFit. He started his own CrossFit company. He's an entrepreneur. Of course they're all doing well lah. I think most of them are almost everyone is doing well, if I'm not wrong. Then of course randomly my childhood friend who followed me from primary school. Yeah, every single school. So I'm sure you all will have things like this inside in your batch lah, right? So of course all of this is I must always caveat in this day and age, all of my own personal opinion. They may not think so, but at least this is my perception of the batch. And I think there are many others lah. There are a lot in supply chain, in banks, uh, some doing well, some not doing so well. So I think this is the interesting thing about life lah, right? So for me, where am I? I'm in Jurong Port now. So Jurong Port, what do we do? Some of you may know, some of you may not know. There are essentially only two ports in Singapore lah. Key ports that are free trade zone. One is PSA, which you will see in the news, container ports, very sexy. The other is Jurong Port. So what is Jurong Port? Jurong Port, we handle, just now everybody talk about commodities, right? We handle the physical aspect, the steel. So you see the steel depot. Where do the steel go? Wherever you're sitting on. Okay. Everything that is building structure, HDB, uh, metals. So we do lead, zinc, ingot, copper, you name it, we have it lah. I just don't have gold lah. Gold normally is stored at Changi there. There's a free trade zone there. I do offshore marine. So offshore marine projects, things that you have never seen. You know, everything that I always tell people I'm 0.1 ton because I work in tons, right? So but everything there is about few thousand tons. Alright. Of course your mining equipment, dump trucks, all the tires, it's just very sexy stuff. But my day-to-day, my function, I'm in a commercial, so I run the commercial team for what we call this as general cargoes, right? So very broadly speaking, general cargoes is general cargoes, right? Then the other segment is like what we call bulk cargoes. So bulk cargoes are things like your marine salt, cement, aggregate, sand. So and of course the last one is what we call supply boat. So when all those ships that just now I think one of your friends, the Glencore guy, all the ships, right? Every ship you need toilet paper, right? Sounds very lame, right? But there's whole business thriving on what we call supply boats, right? You supply from shore to the vessel, okay? So essentially, if you don't know by now, you don't hear of us, but the moment for me, once I do the commercial side, once I increase the rates, your HDB price will go up. Once I just need to do something silly lah, right? And your whole supply chain down for everyone is affected. But nobody knows it's me, thankfully, right? But I'm the idiot. So I'm one of the idiots there, right? Then of course when you do commercial, you have a lot of customers. So I always tell people I'm just a customer service lah, right? Answer phone call, get scolded every other day. So it's a very fun and exciting job, I would say. And I think just now I was just sharing also with one guy, you know, I think what Daryl shared, resilience. I think one guy was saying that in BNP he was getting scolded. This part and parcel lah, right? Of course, I think in this day and age we talk about mental wellness, but I think from my generation at least, and I think the senior ones, we all been through that, we lived through it lah. I don't know how many of you got caned, but that is part and parcel when you're growing up. So in a way, like in my day-to-day job, especially when you're dealing with both white and blue collars, both local and international, then you need to have a very varied or adaptable spirit and mindset lah, right? To know how to respond. How do you engage different people of different backgrounds, different cultures, right? So yeah, this is me in short. If ever you're interested in drone port, you can go and Google, right? But it is a very unsexy business, and I always tell people if you can, don't bother join something like this, right? Don't join. Everything dirty happens here lah, essentially. Yeah. Yeah, but that's how we keep Singapore clean. All right. So anyway, hey, it's white. I chose black, but it's fine. Okay. So anyway, my background, or the path that I took. Of course, when you come to uni, you plan to study hard, right? Plan to study hard and play hard, right? That's what we always say. But unfortunately, I did neither. I failed. I don't know how many of you have failed a module, right? And then there's a difference between failing a module and finding out that you are lower than the other lower person. So you are the lowest of the lowest, right? In Chinese, we call that 垫底, right? You are the base. So I was the base at least once. Yeah, once for that one mod. Okay. In uni, I found love, all right? But not from ISE, don't worry. Okay. Then I did NOC. Yeah. If y'all don't know anything from Property Lim Brothers, you don't eat where you shit. Okay. So in NOC, then I did my first job, then my second job. Okay. So this actually I'm still on my second job. Although in my second job, then I moved quite a bit lah. But of course, I'm not sure if the color will come up. No, it didn't. But I think one of the things I wanted to highlight about here was mainly two things, which is finding love and NOC. Why do I say that? So I think, like I said, I come from many years ago. So just to share, just to give you all an idea also, if you have to think through about what you want, not just your career. Think about your life. Finding love, what does it mean? It means planning for a house. It means possibility of having kids. It means a possibility of not doing what you may have intended to do, right? So these are things that you have to that change the trajectory of my life, for better or worse. I don't know, right? In a parallel universe, maybe I'm a multi-millionaire. Who knows, right? Same thing for NOC. So nothing to hide. My cap is probably the lowest here. I don't know anybody went out on stage with no class before. Yeah, I was the idiot. Okay. So I actually realized that I have no talent. I'm not skilled in much things. But at that time, at that season, for me, why I chose NOC was, back then, I don't know how old were you all. People were saying China is like, oh, up and coming. China was growing double-digit growth. The whole world was single digit and whatnot. So I just thought, hey, why not just try lah? Since I can't make it I'm not great academically. I'm not great sports, obviously. I'm not the best looking, right? So you don't expect me to be on the model or cover page or anything. Although I don't know why they put me on the website, but anyway. So you gotta recognize your strengths in a way, like who are you? Very, very existential question, like who are you? Where are you from? Okay, are you local? Are you not local? Right? We shall touch on later lah, or actually right now lah, right? You really got to ask yourself, who are you and what are you? So, are you a Cat 5, like my friend just now, right? Cat 5, easy going, can go MIT, can go, you name the school, he can go lah, right? Then your interest in, nothing wrong with going into academics. It's a legitimate job, it pays, you can work from home, I guess, right? Or you're Cat 3 like me? Are you talented? Not talented. So these are things that you will know. Like everybody does programming, right? In ISC. So you will know. I'm not sure you will do like speed runs, right? Who can get to the endpoint, the palindrome, right? Whoever can turn it the fastest, or then you must whoever. Then you go by milliseconds. Who is the fastest? So that is where you start to realize that talent is legitimate, right? You may think that, yeah, I brute force the whole thing, and then you realize, oh, this guy did it in like very elegant 2 lines, and he can get it done in how many milliseconds, but I'm here like 100 lines and shit, mine takes like 10 seconds. Okay. Also, what's your take on life? Are you here to change the world? Are you here to follow along? Are you here to enjoy life? Right. So as you look at, I mean, as a year 1, year 2, normally I don't think of such things, like, I'll be honest. But I figured this is what I would want to tell myself lah. All right. So it's important to actually think about it, because changing the world also represents. I mean, you got the Swedish girl or whatever, Greta Thunberg or something. Changing the world, right? At what cost? The question is at what cost? Think about it. Okay. She's probably banned in certain parts of the world. She's probably being there's probably a bounty on her somewhere lah, right? Things like that. Or you want to follow along, nothing wrong with following along. Everybody just run the race, lor, right? How fast, how slow, you just follow along. Or do you really truly want to enjoy life? Enjoying life does not mean, I'm sure you all have seen some memes floating around, right? Like, what's the purpose of working hard to earn money? What's the purpose of earning money to enjoy life? So why don't you just enjoy life now and stay at home and watch TV, right? So context lah. So a lot of things you got to ask yourself. This one is about your family and your background. Are you a gold spoon? Are you silver spoon? Are you bronze spoon? Or no spoon? Right? Everybody come from different backgrounds and different struggles. I think let's be real lah. Right? Does it make a difference? Indeed. I'm not sure you all heard of this club last time called Butter Factory. It's my time lah. It's damn old lah, right? But essentially the girl was in uni. She started a club because her father managed to put in 300K. All right. So hey, but legitimate way to start a business, right? And it took off lah. So you can earn money from that. Or if you no spoon, then you find a way to work hard, lor, right? Or you find a way to make use of what your resources around your network. Whatever they said lah, the previous guys. But more importantly now, I think what I want to share is the mindset, right? Are you introvert or extrovert? I am naturally introvert, right? But in the course of work, then you figure out how do you deal with speaking to people, how do you deal with speaking with an audience. But it plays a part because I got also another girl not inside the photo earlier. After graduating, what do you do? All the jobs that they were talking, finance, banking, hospital, supply chain, what she do? Instagram blog shop. Okay, so can earn money, can earn. Okay, she earn as much as me or if not more. All right. So but of course the way she goes about it, now how she market herself, how she put herself out there, these are skill traits, no? That like what I think Darren mentioned also. You got to recognize lah. Right. Okay, just now I mentioned dating or doing that. I think this is definitely a pivoting thing in everybody's individual life. Right. I mean, at my age, I have 2 kids. Right. I have friends that until now they have no kids. You don't need to earn a ton of money to have like 2 houses and a big car. Okay, I'll be honest. You want to drive a BMW GT Grand Tour, you want to drive a X4, you just don't have kids lah. It's easy as that, really. You work and your wife work, you will get there one. You will have 2 houses. Okay, it's as straightforward. You don't need to work in finance even. Any job, okay, will get you there. All right. So, these are things you have to ask yourself, and is important. It's important because firstly, matters of the heart, none of us can control. Let's be honest. If I love somebody, I love somebody. I don't like. But after you find somebody you love, then you must talk. Do you want to have kids? Last time when I first started, my first kid, the insurance agent told me, 1 kid, 1 million. By the time my second kid come, 1 kid, 2 million. That's how fast it was. Maybe when your time, 1 kid, 3 million, 4 million. Okay, I'm talking about the insurance value lah. So I always tell my wife lah, the best gift you can give your kids is if we die. Okay, we die already, they're rich already, instant multi-millionaires, So these are things that you just got to ask yourself lah. Right. And so the first thing that I really want to encourage each one of you individually is to think about who are you, where you are, right? And what you have around you. Okay, it's important. Chinese got this saying, 知己知彼 or something. Know yourself before you know your enemy. Yeah. Okay, my Chinese not very good, obviously. Then after you assess yourself, then the next thing is, okay, what do you want? Some people, they say they want freedom, right? So I'm sure all of you have by now heard of this word, FIRE, right? Financial independence, retire early. But actually you can have retire early with the freedom if you just change your lifestyle. Who says you must have fine dining every weekend? Hawker center is also freedom, right? No one says you need a 15K, a 20K, 30K salary to actually get you into that kind of lifestyle, right? Or you can do currency arbitrage. A lot of people are doing that. Right? I just spoke to one guy. I mean, I was just in JB today, so very interesting. So he was telling me like, this property agent was telling me, oh, Singaporeans, a lot of them, they rent their property in Singapore, then they rent out their property in Singapore, and then they rent a property in JB, and then the cost just currency arbitrage, and you will earn and you will just enjoy a good living there. Right. So these are things in a way Singaporean with a little bit of access is able to do already. Alright, so that's freedom. Are you looking for, like my friends earlier, the corporate bros, right? Finance bros, you want to wear a power suit, walk in office. I obviously I can't make it. I can't even fit into my long sleeve, right? So after a while, all my white shirts are just yellow, right? And all I wear is just polo t-shirt, right? Or if you're software engineers, what they want is to everyday wear t-shirt and shorts and slipper, right? Nothing wrong, right? That's also a way of lifestyle. You want family, obviously. Think about that. You want a luxurious lifestyle. So it's very different. As you have already again the PLB, as you have learned many ways to have a luxurious lifestyle. Right? More than one, definitely. Uh, Either gender is totally capable of doing it to me. But luxurious lifestyle comes with a certain cost, but who knows? As long as it's not illegal and not unethical, every game is fair, lah, right? I got some friends I have a friend that actually did a startup. So if you all ever go into 7-Eleven or Cheers, I think, to 7-Eleven, you'll see this machine there that you can take your fruits and just put it in, and then it will just become a instant fresh smoothie. There are a few folks actually just now in the photo that did startups. One failed quite badly, right? Invested a lot of his salary, then joined those startup, Combi, whatever. Another one was quite successful, got bought out. Then this guy was a local born, worked with A-Star, and then come out with the machine, and then now he's going international. So I think there are some people that really wants to go into startup. Nothing wrong. Just give it a shot, lah. Right? If you're young, you can start now, lah. Right? Think about what you want to do. Or sometimes you can even start at 50, right? You see all those, again, all your memes and all that. Your KFC guys started at what? 60 something? Okay. Like what I said, lah. If you are good looking, or you're not good looking, but you just know how to take photos, you know how to market yourself, you can be a model. There are a lot of people out there that are modeling in university. They are selling clothes, representing brands. Yeah, go ahead. Nowadays, what you ask, I don't know what you call them now. Those who are 15, younger than you guys, maybe in the secondary school, what do they want to do in their life? They tell you, I want to be a content creator, TikTok, I want to dance. Okay, sure. If you're in it, you're extroverted, go for it. Okay, if you can make money out of it, do whatever that makes you happy, lah. Right? Of course, if you're sporty, if you're talented, go ahead. Nothing wrong with like Max Mader or even Joseph Schooling. After a while, even though he's on drugs and all that, hey, he's still making bank with Milo and whatnot. Okay, so at the end of the day, really, it's about to me lah. I sum it up lah. Really, in just this short phrase, really, assess yourself, right? Know who you are. Like I know I'm not academically smart. I'm not the best. Then do something that either brings you in a direction whereby you can be maybe a slightly bigger fish in a slightly smaller pond, right? Or just do something that other people are not doing. And I think that helps, right? And after you know yourself, then you'll be able to also ask yourself, what is it that you want? I think it's important, yeah, because sometimes that there could be a mismatch. What you want and who you are just don't gel. Like there was a time I like them want to do trading, right? Then you need to find out, like you go onto the trading floor back then with all the computers and you see how they talk, how they interact. Then you ask yourself, is this for me? Right? Is this for me? Right? Then after a while, you say, maybe not. Right? Do I want to go into that kind of lifestyle every night, spend that kind of money? Maybe, maybe not. Right? Then that's where you start to adjust a little bit. Right? It's a little bit like dating, lah, I guess. Yeah. You don't just, I mean, some people are very fortunate, right? They first girl they date, then they like this girl, but it's normally like you want the most handsome, tallest guy, most good looking, but after that you realize, okay, you tweak a little bit, things like that. So my take is that's how life is. Yeah, assess yourself and then take action in that direction to do something that move towards the goal that you want. Right? So I hope I just share with you all some tidbits lah. If not, then you can just treat it as an old man ranting. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe now we can invite the next speaker. Okay.
Of course, thank you. Actually, I only have 2 slides, so sorry. Okay, maybe just a quick introduction of myself. I'm Ming from the class of 2023, but professionally, people know me as Audrey. I'm working as a solution architect at eCloud Valley. And today, hopefully by sharing my career as well as my academic life, it can help you to navigate your path as an ISE student and soon to be graduate. Yeah, so just the next slide is just my journey, like a quick overview. I think as many of you know, we jokingly call ISE as I study everything. And I truly believe that I did study a little bit of everything throughout my career, throughout my life at NUS. And this is where I developed a passion for data and analytics. While as far as my professional career go, I have no idea of where I'm going to end up. I just know what I like, and I just always out there to explore what opportunity lies ahead of me. And I think just by working hard and keep and staying curious, opportunity will open up, and it did. So I think I have done many things in school. Throughout my school, I have done multiple type of internship. I have done internship in operation, in data. I was in cloud, and then at some point I even tried to go into insurance, but not like trying to sell insurance to other people. I was in the pricing department, so where we determine what is the premium going to look like for any individual based on their risk profile. Yeah, so my career has been anything but a straight line. Fresh out of college, my first job was at ecosystem builder. So basically in the startup space, I was a program executive. But I think as most of you will find out, if you go into the startup space, be it incubator or venture capitalist, the team tends to be quite small, and then you find that you often have to wear many hats. So while I was there, I was a program executive. The intended job scope is for me to create programs for the startup, like networking events or demo day for the startup to gain visibility. But more than often, I find myself in roles outside of my intended job scope. I was doing marketing, outreach, and demand generation. And for me, it was a perfect first job, not because of all the things that I could have done. I have met many amazing people, founder, investor, and industry leaders who teach me many lessons that I have learned. At the same time, I learned something very important: how you communicate, how you put yourself forward, and how you think really matter a lot. Like people form impression quickly, and opportunity come with it. So how you put yourself out there matters. And I think all these lessons that I learned from my first job, which is at Hello Tomorrow actually, has helped me greatly in my next part of my career journey, which is, I would have to say, in like a total different industry. When I was at eCloud Valley, I was just talking to a lot of startups, talking to a lot of founders, trying to figure out what they need and what they want from each other and connecting them. And it was also amazing that we get to travel a lot to France, where is our headquarter, and then we would go to a lot of networking events. So I mean, if you fancy that kind of lifestyle, maybe you can look into it. And my next job was at eCloud Valley. We are a AWS consulting partner. So it's like you are doing AWS services without the possibility of getting retrained every other quarter. So I guess the best thing for me was the stability. I started out as a cloud engineer in December 2024. And then just this January, I was promoted to become a solution architect. So I'm not sure anybody is interested in IT and knows what this title mean. So a cloud engineer, so basically in the IT world, you are a company, you would have either your you guys do software development. So you would build an application and the application have to be hosted somewhere. And then, below the application, there would be the data layer and the hosting, the infrastructure, and the networking and the security. These are like the different component of the cloud services that we can provide. There's also the equivalent on on-prem. On-prem mean like you have the physical server rack. So as a cloud engineer, I was doing the implementation, like setting up your compute instance, setting up your database, configuring your network rules, like network trafficking. And then I was there for 7 months, and this whole time I was, expressing interest in data, which is something that I have always have in my heart. And slowly I move on to become an AI and data specialist, which is now that I'm a glorified SA, but only for data and AI solution. I will meet up with clients and understand their business requirement and draft for them a solution on AWS. And recently, based on a lot of networking and I think taking ownership and just putting myself out there, I was promoted to a solution architect. So now I finally got the title, and now I'm ready to leave my current company for somewhere else. I mean, okay, so maybe looking at this, it doesn't seem so like I don't think my career has been anything but like a straight line. And I have to admit, like internally, there has been a lot of unexpected growth within my role. If I can like point out to a few things that help me to where I have become today, I think it would have to be the ownership. When I first joined ECV, like eClub Valley, under, I have never had experience on AWS before. I was hired because I know the right people, and throughout my working experience with them, they were very impressed with the quality of work that I have put forward. And it's also based on, I think when you go to the workplace, a lot of time is what you might work hard, but it's important to get noticed as well. So not just so you work hard and then you have to put yourself out there, and make sure that when you put yourself out there, you are doing things that benefit the company. And that's how you can, get noticed in management eyes point of view, I think. When I first joined, for the first few months, and it's also important to stay humble. I was, up until now, still the most junior person on the tech team, but maybe my title already surpassed some of them, like maybe fivefolds. And I was there for like, I think this would be my 13 months here. I think it's also how you capture opportunity. When I was there, the first 4 months I spent doing the dirty work, like how to configure security group on ECV, like EC2, which is like the most basic thing. And every time that the sales team come back with an opportunity, I would like raise my hand and talk to the other solution architect and like ask them, can I help you on with something? And like they would, or like, can I go to the next client meeting? I can help the team to pitch about this solution and why it's so great. And that's how I get started basically, by just, jumping on opportunity. It might not be handed out to me. When I first joined, of course, I have expressed interest in becoming a solution architect, but I also have another colleagues who I tried to push forward to become a solution architect. But I believe like the reason why I'm here and he has not been is because when you volunteer for something, you need to be very aggressive about it. And that's what set you apart. And also you might be doing in good work, but if nobody see it, if the right people don't see it, then it's also very hard for them to take any action for you. So I guess my lesson, my learning points are everywhere. You should always be aggressive, know what you are good at, and continue. Like, I think maybe you should see yourself as a product. Like, know what is your strong point, continue to push for it. That's what I always do, and be very smart about how you are managing your connection as well. Like up until this point, I'm very junior. I'm just made a solution architect, but like today, today and like my director has entrusted me with meeting a lot of important client. I'm sent to meeting with AWS for strategic discussion between our relationship with AWS. And, you know, there are like, I think technical skills are something you can learn, but just sometimes maybe take a step back and think like, how can I sell myself better? And then how can I like what matter in your company? And if you stick to that, I think you go very far. And also in my case is connection does do good work for you. So make a lot of connection and impress them. Yay. Yeah, like you can have after.
Maybe I want to invite Daryl and Justin for if there are like a few questions from the floor.
Okay.
Maybe we can answer some questions from the form first.
These are the same questions.
Yeah, same questions.
Or if you ever have any questions, just shoot.
Yeah.
So Daryl, because in your sharing, right, you talk about how like a lot of years you join like student clubs, right?
Yeah.
So how important would you say joining like student clubs or CCAs is like in uni? Because like I've heard people say like CCA in uni is like it's not as important as like maybe like JC, because JC is like you can minus points of it or secondary school. But then in uni, like how important is it other than you can put the soft skills in like your LinkedIn or your resume?
I think it depends on how you want to package that experience on. So for me, at least when I took up a CCA, for me, I went towards like student clubs more because I wanted to do something for like my batchmates or like for others. So that's how I went about with going with my CCA. And then as you go along through NUS and you attend like a few career fairs, then the career advisor will keep telling you, oh, you gotta package your CCA to say that you learn certain soft skills and stuff. But that's like all the marketing tactics for yourself. Yeah. I think when you pick a CCA, it's more like, does that interest you? And then what kind of I guess learning lessons or what do you want to take away from the experience? Yeah, that's how I will want you all to like go about with CCAs. Because I feel like if your mindset is right when you enter it, then you'll bring out a lot more value from that experience that you get. Yeah. So don't just take it because there might be some good outcome that you can so-called read from. Yeah. Think about like when you go through it, like is there something you want to learn or is there like some kind of passion you have for that particular thing you're going into?
Thank you. Yeah. I have a question. Maybe for both Justin and Audrey, because the two of you are more of the OD section. You're senior, yeah, not senior, not senior. Yeah, so you all have a lot of positions in your current jobs, and you all had jumped multiple positions. So I was just wondering, was there any steep learning curve when it comes to jumping from one position and then to the next position? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, go.
for me,
Mm.
there wasn't any big jumping. Like I didn't feel like the job scope changed a lot. It's just you have more responsibility. So you have to manage your time better. And also it's not about like learning how to get the job done. It's just maybe managing your time well, and at a higher position, you definitely have more responsibilities. And with that come like, I think like for me as a solution architect, I'm drafting, proposal, and these are contractual agreement between us and another company, and we have to honor these. So it's just the additional things that I have to work on is how do I do risk mitigation every time that I'm writing a new proposal. And also, I think maybe for me, it's always like there will be a new technology tomorrow. So have I considered everything? And like, am I up to date on certain security standard, or like, am I choosing the most optimized way to deliver certain things? So maybe I didn't think of it as like this is like a steep learning curve or what. It's just what I have to do, and then I just set out to do it. And but you are not the only one in the company anymore, because now you work as a team. You have your colleagues to, I mean, at least for me, in my case, I have very experienced fellow solution architects that I work with. So I always like consult them and just, yeah, try my best.
I have both experience. I think so I had two jobs. When I say two jobs, it's just two different companies. But essentially in the first company is an MNC. So I think in MNCs a lot of times you have like this like says solution architect, then you have SA1, SA2, SA3. Right. So I was a transportation analyst, then your TA1, TA2, TA3, TA4. So in a way, for that the learning curve wasn't that steep. It was really more of knowledge, right? Expertise and knowledge. It means how well do you know the company, how well do you know the process, how well do you know how to get things done and moving, right? What are the protocols, etc. etc. Second company is very different. I went from I came in doing the first change was people management, right? Definitely, I mean nobody is anyone reporting to you as of now, right? Maybe your CCA like you have some form of pseudo training, but I think it's very different when you have to hire and fire people, right? That's one, right? Whatever you say, whatever you do, as for guys, I cannot just go to a girl and just go, yeah, there are things that, and then there are certain policies, right? You have to manage, right? You cannot make one to one. I can't send her home. I have to handle it in a group. So things like that are very particular. So that's where you learn. So the learning curve is more on the etiquette in terms of how to manage another person, right? Whether young or old, right? Secondly, I think also in some companies like my company, I went from I'm a transformation guy, right? That means my job is to change things. I went from that into what I just shared earlier was commercial, right? I have no head, no tail, I don't know finance, I don't know P&L, I know nothing, right? So you just go in and you learn everything. You do everything from scratch. I took over the contracts, I redid the contracts, I redid all the arrangements, and then you engage the customers. So in my I think in my 5-6 years in the second company, every year is a very steep learning curve, right? I mean in my first week I have delayed a vessel. I don't know any of you know what that entails, right? Just me doing, young enthusiastic, then I managed to delay a vessel for about half an hour to 1 hour. So if anybody is ever in freight procuring, one day of vessel chartering is typically about 20 or 30K. So I probably cost them, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000, but it's a lot more because there are snowball effects in supply chain, right? Just like if the Shopee one guy is late, right, then pick up, there's a reason they only do not 2 times, 3 times, right? Because there's a snowball effect. So these are things that I think the learning curve can be very steep. So I think to your point, it varies like company to company. But definitely, if you go MNC whereby it's very structured, you don't need to worry so much. It's essentially just progressive learning, whereby the steps are there and they'll take care of you. But it may also mean that your progression is limited, right? As compared to some other companies whereby, especially for a lot of Singapore, larger Singapore companies, right, whereby the culture mindset is if ever you all go to a government, I think I heard somebody saying go JTC, right? We believe there's a scholarship mindset, which is if you're good, you can swim anywhere, right? You see that in your minister portfolios, right? Today you got Minister of Health, tomorrow you're Minister of Finance. Next day you're Minister of Trade and Industries. You think the fellow know anything about health and COVID, man? Don't know, right? You think he knows everything about MOE education, man? Just because you know, so don't just assume lah. I think that that learning curve has to come. And that's where you draw on your expertise of your social skills, your technical skills and just ability to learn and say that okay, if you give me a fish, I'll learn to fry it, I'll learn to braise it, I'll learn to cook it, whatever, as long as it's edible, I'll eat it. Okay, so take every opportunity and do it.
Any more questions from the floor? Actually, thank you guys for sharing. I have one question. What's one regret that you guys are comfortable with sharing? Maybe regarding uni or your work so far?
Regret.
One regret from uni or work, is it?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if it's a regret lah, but it's a bit of what I just shared earlier, which is that knowledge of what you want in life. Yeah, that means sometimes it's very interesting that you live life, you think you know, but actually you're just cruising through. So it's actually very important to sit yourself down and quantify it, qualify it, and be clear with yourself, right? Don't just say, I think I like money. Like what I was saying, some guys earlier, what about money? You just want to earn money? You want to use money? You want to procure money? You want to make money? You want to how you want to do with that money, right? There are many ways about making about money in itself, right? Or if you like food, right? You like F&B, you know, like service, then be clear because service can be anything. Anything can be a service. So I think my main regret was really in that sense. So back then, I think like what he said, so some of the NUS Talent Connect, I just went to Talent Connect. Back then I was driven by, I say what decision was that I found love. Right, that's the problem. Because after I found love, I realized, okay, so I'm that bit practical. I calculate how much money I need for a wedding. Right. Then my girlfriend and my wife now is like, maybe I get my salary, I say, how much do I need to earn? So as long as it hits that salary, okay, I'll just take the job. Yeah. That's how I decide why I will accept the job. Right. So finding love actually does affect your planning. And you must plan HDB BTO nowadays, like I said, it's about 4 to 5 years. And add to that, what if she's like a high earner? Yeah, I can't qualify for HDB already, right? Then how? Then my grant, everything is gone. Hey, all these effects, you'll be surprised, these practicalities of life. So whereby you if I knew what I knew now, I think it's not really a regret, but I would have been more at peace with certain decisions that I've made. Right? At that point in time, it was made like LL law, you know, I just have to do. But if you think back, you realize, yeah, I made this decision and I'm conscious about it. Because now at my age, I have, like I said, about my left, right is multi-millionaires everywhere. I don't know. You see the property agents, their face. One of them is my friend, you know, and he's like, pretty rich, I'm bored everywhere. Then you got other people that are like, you know, traveling all over the world, right? And but no kids lah, or they just need a different lifestyle. So these are things then back then you will go like, oh, it's nice to have. But if I knew what I knew now about, okay, this is the path that I'm choosing, then you'll be more at peace with how you decide on certain things. Yeah. That's for me.
I have no regrets. I know at some point in my career, I was like, what am I doing here? And like, how do I don't like to be stagnant. And that's why I left Hello Tomorrow and like start something totally different. I was just desperate to get out. But even then, like when I left, I didn't feel like I regretted my time there. If you just put yourself, like, I mean, if you just challenge yourself to work hard and you know you see what you are doing, I don't think anything is a wasted opportunities. Yeah. I like to make money and then spend it. That's my primary goal in life. And like maybe not to be stagnant. That's how like if my only regrets is if I didn't push myself harder.
Maybe I give like a more youngster. I guess a regret in my uni career would be like I didn't get to go for NOC. I think like being overseas for a long period of time is a very interesting experience that I think after you start work, right, you realize like you don't really have a lot of that you don't have that kind of amount of time to be overseas. Yeah, so if you all have the chance, like really try for like exchange or NOC, especially more than 3 months, or that's that would be the life of yeah. Because you really immerse in a culture that is so different from Singapore, firstly, and you get to learn about how people live their lives that is not like Singaporeans. Honestly, when people tell you like the Singapore lifestyle is very fast paced, everyone works hard here. It's true, yeah. So I think you all need to like be open to learning a different lifestyle, and then that also gives you a chance to like like don't just force yourself into a mold that you think that everyone's like that, so I should be like that. Yeah, give yourself the chance to like explore yourself, explore the world, and then make a decision after that. Yeah.
I think we can wrap up the Q&A session. So after that, I think we can invite Ratik on in front for the brief presentation.
So it's a personalized card with the ISE logo. Thank you. Maybe you can say in one line then.
Of course.
Oh yeah. Teach the first side.
Oh, I can't see. Let's reset the side.
Present.
You cannot find the mouse. Okay, can.
To each side. 3 side lah. Coming.
Dyson and
Coming.
Jiren cannot come also lah. Pass your phone to.
Go in.
Yeah, pass your phone to Naomi also.
Vernon also.
Vernon, yeah. Some.
Is it too wide?
Can fit us.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
You can get the rest to come also. Yeah.
Come.
Yeah, come.
Come.
Yeah, come. Everyone.
Just come.
It's fine.
Get someone outside.
You know the thing
Sleeping inside.
not so big. Wash. I'll just take a paper cup.
Everyone, you just come closer.
So yeah, these stuff. Yeah, you don't eat. Yeah, which shade? I don't know what department for. I don't know what he doing.
Yeah, actually, do you want to be in the photo? Then I will take. Oh, I also alumni actually. The students are inside. All right, nice. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. All right, it was good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, speakers, for coming.
Now it's time for connecting each other. So you all any questions or want to connect, feel free to connect. There's still food outside, so you all can eat. Have yourself